Donald Trump is the least shocking human being I've ever come across in my life. He is consistently being himself. The man is a cliched villain. Looks like a villain, talks like a villain. Like he looks like he should be in a Scooby-Doo episode.
I never thought I'd say this, but Kim Jong-un up against Donald Trump is a strange situation because you don't know who.
Trevor just dropped a roast so savage, even Trump's hairpiece might have flinched. He went after Donald's obsession with alternative facts, Melania's iconic side eyes, and the ongoing reality show that is their public life. Somewhere in Mar-a-Lago, a golf club is flying, and a Truth Social meltdown is already in motion. Get ready, folks.
Last week was President Trump's first international trip. Instead of his visits and looking at the effects on U.S.-Israel relations, everyone was focused on Donald-Melania relations.
The thing that got an enormous amount of media attention had to do with Melania Trump, the First Lady, and some video. Was this an actual slap, or did she just pull her hand away? She pulled her hand away, but I didn't quite see the contact of a slap.
Wow. Leave it to Fox News not to recognize what rejection from a woman looks like.
Trevor Noah didn't just roast Donald and Melania Trump, he marinated them in satire, slow roasted them to perfection, and plated them on a comedy gold platter. This wasn't just another routine jab. It was a masterclass in sharp wit. With each punchline, he tore through Trump's obsession with fake news, his fascination with alternative facts, and his remarkable talent for turning every situation into a personal vendetta.
Every time Donald Trump or Melania speak, it seems like they're throwing shade at each other. They're giving a speech, but they're actually talking trash about the spouse. Every time, all you have to do is listen to the subtext of what they're saying. And she was like, as First Lady, I believe we need to fight against the cyberbullying. All of the people on the Twitter who are saying the bad things, we need to stop them. We need to make sure that they cannot carry on what they're doing.
And Melania, oh, Trevor made sure to include her. He portrayed her as the most unwilling First Lady, the one who seemed to blink SOS in Morse code whenever the cameras got too close. He poked fun at her stiff yet oddly regal demeanor, her Be Best campaign that barely resonated with anyone, and her almost magical ability to disappear the second Trump wasn't looking.
America's president. Oh, he was even cockier. Yeah. You see him when he came out? Donald J. Trump. Oh, he had all the swag. He was like, folks, we're gonna have it handled. In 21 days, the virus will be gone. 21 days. Some are even saying 20.
Social media reacted just as expected, exploding like a wildfire. The meme machine kicked into high gear, producing gems of Trump angrily typing on his gold-plated iPhone, and Melania edited into dramatic escape scenes. Comment sections became battlegrounds, with Trump supporters fiercely defending their leader, while Trevor's fans cheered on another late-night comedy triumph. But the real question is, was this just another laugh, or did Trevor hit on something more profound?
I feel like Trump would be exactly the same even if he spoke Arabic. It would be like the same thing. He'd be like, Halalawa traktara suklalawa. Yalawa laka. Patika shukran nalawa layla. Matika laylawa. Yalla yalla!
Let's be real, Trump thrives on feuds, especially with celebrities. If there's attention to grab, a headline to dominate, or the slightest controversy, he's all in, like a steak cooked to oblivion and smothered in ketchup. His track record with late-night comedians is its own comedy special from SNL skits that sent him into 3 a.m. tweet storms to stand-up routines that had him branding Hollywood a disaster. Instead of shrugging off satire, he fires back with lawsuits, frantic all-caps posts, and the occasional rally meltdown where he blasts late-night hosts as woke and completely unwatchable.
Like the mind of Donald Trump. Oh, the other idea he had for the wall was he said America should build the wall out of solar panels. That's what he said. He said America should build the wall out of solar panels because that way the wall would generate electricity and pay for itself. Yeah. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that's a good idea, right? It's a good idea. Unless you know anything about solar panels or the sun or walls. Because the problem with that idea is that the sun is up a solar panel wall is not going to work because a wall is like this. So technically it's facing down. So unless you have like a really swaggy sun that's like, yeah, I shine real low, B, it's not going to work for you.
So, what comes next? Will Trump act like he never saw it while secretly fuming? Or will he jump on Truth Social to fire back, calling Trevor a failed comedian with terrible ratings? And, of course, misspelling at least 2 words in the process. And Melania, let's be real, she's probably unfazed, sipping imported tea, staring into the distance, wondering what life would be like if she had married a quiet billionaire instead. Meanwhile, the internet is eating this up. Political satire has always existed, but Trump-era comedy, that's a genre of its own. Late-night hosts, stand-up comics, and even TikTok creators have all taken their shots because Trump hands them material on a silver platter. His speeches, his reactions, his off-the-cuff remarks practically write the jokes for them. But Trevor, he didn't just roast Trump, he delivered a masterclass in comedy, playing the game like a grandmaster setting up checkmates.
About him, she just says it about whatever he's speaking about, and then she just keeps it moving. And I like that the clarification there was, because she released a statement, and then people were like, is Melania going against the president? And then released another statement that says, no, this has nothing to do with the president. This has everything to do with LeBron and how good his school is. And I was like, really? That's all you're gonna say? That's all you're gonna? Because I was like, that is just a simple. That's a woman scorned in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like if you've ever grown up in a house where like 2 adults are fighting, that's pretty much what it is. Like you'll be at dinner. I remember my aunt would do that to her husband. It's like everyone would be eating something, and then someone would go, like, one of my favorite lines was like, someone was dishing up some food, and then my uncle was like, no, he's like, don't put the gravy on top, put it on the side. And then my aunt was like, yeah, he likes things on the side. And then everyone's just like.
Here's the thing, do these jokes really make a difference? Does another viral roast actually sway public opinion? Probably not. Trump's supporters won't suddenly change their minds just because Trevor dropped a brutal monologue. MAGA loyalists will dismiss it as more Hollywood bias, while Trump's critics will cheer like it's the final scene of a Rocky movie. Still, moments like this serve a purpose. They keep political conversations going, fuel debates, and most importantly, give people a reason to laugh at the absurdity of it all. Because let's face it, without humor, the chaos of modern politics would just be overwhelming. So whether this feud fizzles out in a few days, or Trump keeps it alive with a fiery rally rant, one thing's for sure, Trevor Noah just pulled off a comedy masterclass.
You know what I realized? Like the other day, I sing Trump's, like just catchphrases in my life. Like their lyrics to songs. So I'll just be like sitting by myself in an airport and I'll just be like, billions and billions and billions and billions and billions. And someone will walk past and be like, what song is that? I'm like, oh, that's just Trump talking about his money. And that's, it's like a weird, like today he was talking about chain migration. That's his big thing, you know, and like because he doesn't want to, pass the government funding bill. And he's like, chain migration. Chain migration. And like he always, it's so like I realized he's doing a bad rendition of like a Bob Marley song. It sounds like a reggae song. It's just like chain migration, chain migration, chain migration, and our people chain migration.
Trevor's roast of Donald and Melania Trump took the internet by storm. But this wasn't just another comedy skit, it was another battle in Trump's ongoing feud with late-night television. And while audiences were still laughing at Trevor's sharp jabs, the real drama was just getting started. With Trump, there's always a follow-up, usually featuring himself, a heated social media rant, and an unnecessary dose of theatrics. Let's be honest, Trump doesn't just ignore criticism, he takes every slight as a personal attack. Late-night hosts have been poking fun at presidents for years, but Trump sees satire as a full-scale betrayal. Unlike Obama, who could laugh at himself, or Bush, who took criticism in stride, Trump treats every joke as an insult, a conspiracy, or part of a deep state scheme orchestrated by the so-called radical left.
He's accused of lying about the value of his properties for decades to defraud the banks into giving him better loans, right? And these are not small amounts. They're not small amounts. For instance, Mar-a-Lago was worth $75 million. And what did Trump say it was worth? $740 million. How? Because I upgraded it, folks. Yeah. Totally upgraded. I added a rec room. It's got a foosball table and everything. He also
also claimed that his 11,000 square foot apartment was actually 30,000 square feet, which was a lie. So this man is going to be the first person to ever get in legal trouble for claiming his apartment is a grower, not a shower. And I've got to say, it would be so funny if this is what takes Trump down, huh? Can you imagine? He tried to overthrow the government, but then they get him for lying about having an in-unit washer-dryer. It's like, that's the thing that locks him up.
As Trevor's audience was still wiping away tears of laughter, Trump was probably already drafting his response. Maybe he'd jump on Truth Social to unleash one of his signature rants, the kind that kicks off with fake news before spiraling into a chaotic mix of complaints, self-praise, and accusations about election fraud, because somehow it always circles back to that. Or perhaps he'd act like he never saw it, only to accidentally bring it up in a press conference days later. That's classic Trump, pretending he's unbothered while secretly stewing over it. And of course, there's the most dramatic option, a full-fledged rally meltdown. Trump loves turning his rallies into personal venting sessions, ranting about his grievances like an uncle who's had a little too much to drink at Thanksgiving dinner.
Do you feel that you in some way do use mockery, fake incredulity and exaggeration, that perhaps you're treading a fine line yourself?
I don't think so, because we are operating in the space of news parody and satire. When you talk about fake news, the biggest difference is it never tells you that it is fake news. We let you know from the beginning. We are on Comedy Central. I tell you from the very get-go who I am. There is no facade.
The crowd would erupt in cheers, and just like that, Trevor's monologue would go down in Trump world history as yet another insult that demands revenge. While Trump likely paces angrily in a gilded hotel suite, Melania is probably somewhere completely indifferent. If there's one thing she's mastered over the years, it's the art of selective ignorance. When controversy arises, she sticks to vague responses like, "I don't focus on negativity," or simply disappears from public view altogether. She's like the world's most luxurious ghost, appearing when needed but vanishing the moment things get too chaotic. Trevor's roast probably didn't even register for her. Maybe someone casually mentioned it over brunch. Maybe she scrolled past a headline. Or maybe she did what she always does when Trump finds himself in the middle of a scandal: act like none of it ever happened.
In the United States of America, if you want to win an election, all you need to have is a strange voice. Simple as that. You want to be president of the United States? Get a strange voice, you're done. Yeah, forget policies, forget ideas, that's boring. You come out there with a strange voice, the people love it. You realize there's been no American president who has a normal speaking voice, none. Trump, that was the weirdest of all. Every other American president was predictable. You know, you understood the ebb and flow. Trump, you never knew what to expect, right? The volume on his voice all over the place, inflection where it didn't make sense. Do you know how hard it was to figure out where to put the volume on your TV when watching a speech? Because you wouldn't know where it would happen. He'd be up there. I think as Americans, we try and try, so try, big trying, all trying, and it is, but I know, and I think if we can, what we won't, but we will, but maybe, but. What?
But the real highlight? The Twitter battles. As expected, Trump supporters weren't amused. While most people were laughing at the roast, MAGA loyalists were in full defense mode, throwing around insults like woke puppet, liberal hack, and my personal favorite, a foreigner who doesn't even understand America. The irony of suddenly caring about immigrants? Absolutely priceless. Comment sections turned into full-blown battlegrounds, with insults flying faster than Trump handing out paper towels at a hurricane relief site. And right in the middle of it all, Trevor, probably kicking back, enjoying a drink, and watching the chaos unfold. Naturally, it didn't stop with Trevor. Once one late-night host takes aim at Trump, the rest follow. The Late Show, Jimmy Kimmel Live, and SNL all jumped in, each adding their own twist to the viral moment.
Fit for Trump. There's no marble, there's no gold. Where are the women in bikinis? And how would he even get there? There's no escalator. Come on, people. So the complaint about Trump is that he's unpresidential, and it stems from certain statements that he's made.
When Mexico sends its people, they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
And you know what they say, when you assume, you're the best at assuming. Trump.
Kimmel took a jab at Trump's political outrage, joking that he'd probably try to sue Trevor for defamation but would lose interest before finishing the paperwork. Stephen Colbert went even further, suggesting Trump might attempt to ban Noah from the US altogether. Meanwhile, SNL was undoubtedly already working on another over-the-top Trump parody. It's the same old routine. Trump does something, comedians roast him, he fires back, and the whole cycle starts again. At this point, it feels like a never-ending reality show with way too many seasons. But in the grand scheme of things, does any of it really make a difference? Probably not. Trevor's takedown won't suddenly turn Trump's supporters against him, just as Trump's inevitable outburst won't stop comedians from making him their punchline.
Again, if you liked Trump, voted for him, and you were happy with him, that also makes sense to me. But there were people who voted for him, and then when he did what he did, they were like, I can't believe he's doing this. I can't believe, well, I'm sorry, what can you not believe? Where have you been for the last ever, huh? I didn't think that he would, you didn't think he would what? You didn't think he would what? Be him? There's no surprises with Donald Trump. That man didn't change, he didn't evolve, he is who he, what do you mean you're surprised? I just thought he would be a better president. Why? What gave you that inclination? The man is a cartoon villain. He looks like he belongs in an episode of Scooby-Doo. Like, he should be in that lineup.
But what moments like this really do is keep the conversation alive. They highlight the absurdity of it all and give people a reason to laugh at the madness. Because let's be honest, without humor, the chaos of modern politics would be unbearable. For Trevor, this is just another win in a career built on sharp wit and fearless comedy. Trump's time in politics may eventually fade, but satire, that's not going anywhere. So, while Trump plots his next response, his supporters gear up for another Twitter battle, and late-night hosts prepare their next round of jokes, the rest of us can sit back and enjoy the spectacle. Because whether you love him or hate him, Trump is a comedy goldmine, and the only question left is, who's taking the next shot?